Hi, Captain Mike here with you again on the second part of this video on knapping glass blades. As I had mentioned earlier in video number 1, this is primarily aimed at those that wish to, my glass making friends that wish to learn to knap the glass that they make. It's going to be very simple. This is a red glass blade, and this is what we're aiming for. This is a beginner's video, so I don't expect that kind of results right off. It takes a while to get there. So we're going to start with plate glass. As I mentioned in an earlier video, plate glass is cheap. It is the easiest way to start. It's how I start all the people that I teach to flint knap. This glass has been cut into 1 inch, 1.5 inch, and I have taken it to my diamond grinder, little shaper grinder, and ground the edges nice and smooth so that it would go better. And we're going to start with this 1 inch piece right here. You're going to need your pad, and you're going to need an abrader, and of course your knapping tool. And don't forget your glasses, and keep these handy. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we are going to, I'm right-handed, so I've got the pad in my left hand and the tool in my right hand. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to abrade the edge of the glass. And as I mentioned, it's just 1/4 inch plate glass. You can get it for free from almost anybody who repairs glass, storefronts and stuff. Now, the reason that you abrade is that it's like chalking a cue stick, a pool stick, and you know, it just gives this traction. Is what this does. My abrader, as I mentioned before, is just what's left over when I cut up a piece of a grinding wheel on my diamond saw to dress the blade. So with that said, we're going to start, and you'll just take and put your piece of glass like that, take your tool, let's back up just a tad. Just a tad. I forget because I don't have to do this anymore, but probably for a beginner, you're going to want to take a pencil, and you will need to draw a line dead in the center of this piece of glass, right down the center line all the way. Now the reason for that is when we take a flake of glass, we're going to take it on one side or the other of this line. If you're going to take a piece of glass to this side, you're not going to be on the top part. That won't work. You're going to have to be below that center line every time you take it. When you take it from this side, you've got to be below that center line. So that center line is going to give you a good visual view of where you need to be. Now where you start doesn't matter. I generally start pretty close to the end here, and you just take your tool, put it right there, and just kind of start it, push in a little bit, and I'm going to have to adjust the camera a little because, let's see, let me get it on down here just a tad. Okay, if that helps a little. Yeah, that's much better. I put my hands on my legs for support, push in with this, and then just kind of flip my wrist like that. It's a very quick movement. Push in and go boom. And of course, didn't take anything that time, but that's fine. I'm talking and not doing. Now, that time it took a flake. Called a concordial fracture. It's what happens on any high silicon content material that you're going to be making an arrowhead out of. The next step, you will move it about 1/4 inch. Same thing. Push it in and just flip it with your wrist, and it'll take another flake. You come over about 1/4 inch, take another flake. It took it pretty far that time. And you'll go all the way down this piece, just like that, taking about every quarter of an inch. And you'll go all the way down it. And then you will turn it over. Once you get it all the way down, you'll turn it over. I always do one side first. I try to clear the side. The whole objective here right now is to get rid of all the flat and replace it with flakes. So we'll start right here in the middle where I stopped. We're going to play like we've already finished it up. Just take a flake and see it went all the way across. On 1-inch stock, you won't have any problem after a little practice of clearing it. Now when you start, don't be disappointed because you get a little flake like that. Don't worry, little tiny flakes like that are what you're going to get when you first start. But you won't be long before you'll be taking, 1/2-inch, 3/4-inch flakes off. It's just practice. You'll go all the way down it and you skin it. The whole idea is not to have any flat spots on it. Okay? Once you get this side skinned, you turn it over. And same thing, rinse and repeat. Your first flake is not going to be very big. Watch out, Toby, you'll get glass in you now. Come on, move over here. Move over here. Move over about 1/4 of an inch, push straight in like that, and let it pop right off. And same thing, just kind of move right on down. I'm doing this fast because this video runs along anyway. This is the 3rd time I've shot this thing, and there's always something goes wrong. All right, so we've got halfway done. Again, take your brader. A braiding stone is your friend. It's probably one of the 2 most important things you can do. The first one being keeping your tools sharp right here, and we'll go over that in just a second. But anyway, we're going to come down through here, and we're going to take this one, this one, this one, and we're clearing it all the way across. Push in, push in, and just let it kind of go on its own. Just push in, and it'll slide right off, and just kind of pop it like that, and you've got it done. Now, when you get it skinned all the way across on both sides, that's just your first pass. Your second pass, you're going to be taking your material from these little humps right here. We call these humps deltas. And on top of each of these deltas is a ridge. And you're going to hear these terms in flint knapping a lot. Deltas, ridges, platforms. The platform is what you set up to take the next piece of rock off, or in this case glass, because the material wants to run along a ridge. So you'll come back to these humps, these deltas, put your tool right here and push in, and just boom, like that. Takes the delta right off, makes a little bitty delta. Now you've got 2 deltas on either side of that, but they're much smaller. And you'll go right down this, all the way down it, taking those deltas off. And I usually, whenever I start taking the deltas, I just turn around and do once. Just do it this way. You can do it any way you want to do it. You can't do it wrong, as long as you get all 4 sides of it. Push in, pop it off. Push in, pop it off. It's as simple as that. All right. Now, when you get both sides done that way, we're not going to go ahead and do this side. We're going to go ahead and finish up on this side here. You're going to want to take it a 3rd time. And the 3rd time, it's going to start to build convectivity, or a lens shape in the lens. And by that, I mean it's kind of like this right here. You can see how it's kind of lens shaped on that one. And so what we'll do is, now's an excellent time to show you about sharpening this tool. Any kind of a flat file will work. This is copper right here. And just any kind of a flat file will do. And I just take it and just kind of run it. I make mine four-sided. You can make yours round if you want to. Not a thing wrong with it. But you're going to have to do this many times. Your copper wears out pretty doggone quick. And once you get a point on it, now, once this point gets so short you can't do this anymore, you're going to have to take this set screw loose here in your tool, put this part in a vise, pull it out, tighten it back and tighten it, and sharpen it. So anyhow, we're back to the third pass on the side, and the third pass starts to really put shape into the blade. And I'll show you what I mean. Okay, now we're down here now to some pretty narrow stuff. And this is where I usually change over to this tool right here, which has got a little smaller piece of copper, and you can control it a little better. However, you don't have to use this. You can use your big tool. I just like this one because it makes a finer flake. Okay, now you can see where this is beginning to be lens shaped. If I had done this other side over here the same way, it would be lens shaped. But what we're going to do now is we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to put an edge on this piece. And I use my little pad like this. I come over here and I find a place in the middle here somewhere and just go straight down. You'll pop off a piece. I know that's going to be hard to see. Real hard to see. But you pop that off and you're going to end up with some, boy, I'm having a hard time with this. You're going to end up with a low spot there and a low spot there. And those low spots are what you're going to hit next. You're going to go straight down, you're going to take them off. Then you're going to come over here and you're going to take this off and this one off. Flip it over, this one off, and this one off. And you just keep flipping back and forth until you get it done. And you'll do both sides. Because we didn't do the other side, so we're not going to show you that. But you're going to end up with a serrated edge. Real sharp edge right there. And you can take this just to whatever degree you want to. You can just keep on working it on down till it's very nice and fine, or you can just leave it serrated, however you want to do. But that has put an edge on it. Now you can easily see now where there is how lens shaped that is. And that would transfer over to this side if you did this side the same way once you got this whole blade done. And this is what you're going to master first. You're going to want to be able to get a 1-inch piece and clear it off and get that lens shape all the way around. And you're kind of getting there when you do that, you see. Be like that. And then you're ready to start on this piece here. Now the difference in an 1.5-inch piece and an inch piece is the 1.5-inch piece is more like the knife blade that one of the people I'm doing this video for wants. They want to make a knife blade, and so it's closer to an 1.5 inches. You're going to need to know how to skin an 1.5 inch piece of glass, and it has its own little problems that are a little different. Usually you don't have the problem with this. With a 1 inch that this piece is going to give you. So we're going to go real quick and I'm going to try to create the problem that you're going to have and show you how to fix it, and then you're ready to start working on your practice. Alright, same thing. You'll take a flake off. You'll move right on down and you'll take a flake off. And you'll repeat this process until you get all the way down to where you're going. Okay, you'll do that same as before. You'll flip it over. Just assume you went all the way down. We don't have to do that just for the demonstration. All right, we're going to start about middle ways here where the last flake was taken, and we're going to start. Now, what happens here on 1.5 inches is until you get really good, you're going to have to you're going to end up with flat spots in between these two rows. And unfortunately, I'm not having any flat spots. I'm going to have to create a flat spot. Okay, I created one that time. Created another one. All right. So you're napping along here really happy, but you say, oh my goodness, I've got a flat spot right here. This little spot right here is just perfectly flat. He said, what am I going to do? I can't leave that flat spot in there because I'll look like an amateur. So I got to get it out. So what you do is, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to try to determine, wow, I cannot get this camera focused right. You're going to find out where a ridge is. Remember I told you about the deltas and the ridges? The deltas and the ridges. You're going to say, well, okay, there's a ridge right here that runs right into that. So I think I can take that. So you'll abrade really good. And you'll line up that ridge right there. This is a little on the outside, but we're going to see if it'll take it. We'll take it, push in, and go boom. And see, it took most of it off. Yes, you still got some. So what you're going to have to do is find another ridge that runs into that flat spot, like this delta right here. Okay. Same thing. Push in. Didn't quite get it. Left a little. Said, well, gee, this is terrible. You just come in from the other side. And you look at what you got. It looks like I'm going to go over to this side and set up a really nice platform. This may get it, but we'll see. So we'll put our flaker right there. And that didn't go, but that's okay. And then we're going to the middle. That broke. All right, we're going to go sideways. There you go. There you go. You got it out. So you have to kind of know a little bit about your ridges and your deltas, and you can get them spots completely out. They're gone. And then once that's done, once you got your flat spots out, you can go back to building your convexity again. And then you'll just come on the other side, and you might have the same problem on the other side. That's why I usually will skin both sides as far as I can before I try getting the flat spots out. I'll go ahead and do this just like this on both sides. And then you know where you stand, how much material you got to work with, and it makes it easier. And when you first start, you're going to end up with a lot of flat spots you cannot get rid of. Just get you lots of glass, take it to whatever level you can take it, lay the glass aside, get you another piece, and just keep on. And then later you come back, say that one didn't have any flat spots in it, but I purposefully went ahead and cleaned it off. Because what you do now is you'll start to reduce it, just like I told you earlier. You'll do your second pass. You'll get in those deltas, and you'll take those deltas off, and it starts to thin the blade, and it starts to build that lens shape that I told you about. And it won't be long before you're there. Don't get discouraged. Do not get discouraged. Everybody goes through the same thing, and everybody was a beginner at one time. So you just kind of have to You just kind of have to go at it until you get it down. Okay, you can see that's building a real good lens shape right here. You can see that. And that's what you're after. It's that lens shape. And of course the next you take your little tool, take as much of this off as you can. And this camera wants to be so hard to focus. Normally it doesn't. Normally it focuses real well. But it's not doing good now. Okay, but anyway, that's where you stand. And when you get it to that place right there. Now, after you've done a few of these, you're going to say, gee, I wish I could make an arrowhead. So all you have to do is take your piece back over to the grinder and or take your snippers and nip it down into some kind of an arrowhead shape and do the same thing. Then you just take that and then you can do the same thing all over again. You can just kind of take pieces off of it like that until you've got an arrowhead, okay? It's not a problem. That's just one way of getting you an arrowhead really quick. Okay, so you can say, gee, I made an arrowhead. That's good. And that's how that comes out. Now, I had mentioned earlier about patterns. I think I missed it in the other video. This is the patterns that I use. Some of them. I got many. I'm going to try to put a downloadable link in this video where you can download this set of patterns if you want to. And I take that and I make plastic patterns like these. And then I can trace these onto the glass or whatever material I'm using and cut it as I had explained how in the other video. And you'll end up with, a piece like this after you've cut it and nipped it and ground it or cut it and ground it, however you want to do. This particular piece is interesting because it was made from some marbles I had when I was really young. And I found these marbles when I first started trying to do glass. And I thought it would be a great idea if I could make a glass slab out of these marbles. They're old marbles. I probably should have left the doggone things alone. But I do have an interesting knife blade now and a story to go with it. One thing I will mention before we close here is all the different things that you can do with the arrowhead patterns. I mean, I have tons and tons of arrowhead patterns, that little arrowhead patterns that I use. And I keep my microwave kiln going all the time. If you don't have a microwave kiln and you just want to put a whole bunch of these little pieces of scrap in your regular kiln, it works just as good. But these are just neat pieces of glass that I can, I started off making pendants and I said I can make arrowheads out of them, arrowhead blanks. So I do that. I put the outline on it and I cut them out into blanks like this. It's cheap and easy, and I know if there's any real flint knappers watching this video, they're laughing their hiney off right now and probably making fun of me. But people, this video is not for you. This is for people that makes glass and they want to try to make a quick, easy arrowhead. So what you all need to do is take your hammerstone and your deer antlers and go over in the corner and be happy, because you guys know what you're doing, and sooner or later these people might join you and you can teach them how to do percussion and all that. But this is what you want to do. You can take these blanks and you can make all kinds of really neat arrowheads. I mean, we're talking a bunch of arrowheads here. And it's just a rainbow of colors and possibilities. And they make great pendants too. I wire wrap them, I glue bales to them, whatever you'd like to do. But the knife blade is what we're after. And I thank my YouTube friend Susan McCary for requesting that I do this video, and hopefully I can do some more. She wants to make a knife, and we're going to do our best to help her out. So y'all make sure that y'all visit Susan's her YouTube channel and her Facebook page and say hi to her. She's a great artist, and I'll also post a link to two of the people that I work with, friends of mine who make tools. You can buy tools from them, or you can buy them on eBay. So anyway, unless I have forgotten something terribly important, which at my age is a likelihood, I thank you all for watching this video, and if you have questions, put them in the comments below. If you'd like to see something explained better, ask. I'll do my best to explain it. So this is Captain Mike, and I thank you all for watching my video.